Hello, this is Dave Sugarbaker, and today is the 23rd day of February 2025. And I have a little piece of Isaiah for you, as Isaiah is one of my favorite Old Testament writers because he's so poetic. I really like that stuff. So this is from Isaiah 55. Seek the Lord while he may be found. Call upon him while he is near. Let the wicked forsake their way, and the unrighteous their thoughts. Let them return to the Lord, that he may have mercy on them, and to our God, for he will abundantly pardon. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, nor are your ways my ways, says the Lord. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. Part of what makes us unique as human beings is that we try to give life meaning. We try to take all of life's puzzle pieces and make them fit together. We aren't just content to say, well, that's just the way things are. We want to know how and why things are the way they are. It's uniquely human to want to dissect and to analyze our life and our world. We want things to make sense. In Western civilization, we value science because we think that science will answer the why question. It really doesn't. Every question that's answered by science brings up two more questions that we don't have an answer to. At Camp Discovery in the summertime, the camp that I help run for about 150 campers per year. We had 183 this last year, between the ages of 5 and 12. We had some rainy days. We have them every year. And it's time when it really rains hard to get the kids into the Lions Club building where we can keep them relatively safe and relatively dry, because it's raining sideways outside, and we've only got that one Lions Club building that's got walls. One day, years ago, it had been raining, and we were all in the Lions Club building, and we were getting ready to go to lunch in another building for one of the 3 weekly lunches that were prepared by the USDA program that was called the Summer Lunch Program. And a thunderstorm moved in. It was really quite spectacular. We were lining the campers up, getting everybody ready to head to the lunch building. It was about a 2-block walk. And it just rained buckets. It was just a very intense local storm. The thunder and the lightning were almost continuous. Some of the campers were being fitted with garbage bags with a hole cut in it for their head, so that they would have kind of a poncho to wear for this 2-block walk through the rain to get to lunch. And I looked at the line of campers, and I noticed there was one 7-year-old who was just crying her eyes out. And I went over to Lindsay and I asked what was going on, and she said, "I'm scared of the lightning and the thunder." Well, rather than have that kind of scared become contagious and infect all 150 campers, I picked her up and walked outside with her to a porch where we could see and hear everything that the storm was doing, but we were able to stay dry. I asked her what she thought the thunder was, and she said, "It's the devil trying to get us." No wonder she was scared. So I made a very large adult assumption, and that was that understanding something like this might help get us over the fear that we might have about it. And so I began to explain lightning and thunder to Lindsay as well as I could. And although the word hadn't been invented yet, I think what we were doing that day, I was mansplaining. And she and I counted the seconds between the lightning flash and the thunder following, and I told her that it was a way to know how far away the lightning flash was. I have asked Lindsay about this incident recently, and she remembers nothing about it at all. She grew over the years. She was a junior counselor. After a while, this last year, she was a counselor at camp for a period of time. And but she remembers nothing of this incident with the thunderstorm. In any case, that day, she did calm down. Maybe it was the mansplaining, but I don't really think so. I think it was probably more just getting a little extra attention. It was still raining really hard, and I remember I called up the lunch place and asked if we could send some adults to pick up the lunches for the campers and bring the food to them, rather than having them walk through the downpour to get to the feeding site. The answer was no. The campers had to eat their lunch in the summer lunch building. So then I asked if I could delay lunch by 15 or 20 minutes until the storm subsided. The answer was no. If we wanted lunch provided to our campers, we would have them there on time. We were already late. And that's the only place and the only time when the food would be available. Now, I don't know if it's a character flaw of mine or whether it's a virtue, but at that moment, in my mind, a door slammed. That moment marked the beginning of a program called the Methodist Food Program, a highly successful, more flexible summer food program for young people. So that day, I asked the counselors to get the kids to sit at the tables, and we didn't go out in the storm to get lunch. Instead, I went to Pasquale's restaurant here in Maysville, and I bought 14 really large pizzas to go. And we had a great pizza feast. But years later, I still don't understand. Maybe I should have just understood that some people can be kind of short-sighted and they don't really see anybody else's need. Another possibility is that because of the tremendous thunderstorm, we were asking the lunch people to change their plan. Maybe it was just too difficult for them to imagine deviating from the program. When I was a teenager, I remember going on a trail ride in the Black Hills of South Dakota. It was an hour-long tourist kind of thing, and the horses were bored out of their minds. See, I'm already understanding horses from the perspective of human beings. I really don't know if a horse can get bored. Each horse followed the exact same path as the horse in front of it. They did this same trail 10 times a day, every day, all summer long. But as a teenager, here I am sitting on a horse and I want more excitement. I wanted my horse to deviate just a little bit and perhaps go around the right side of just one tree instead of the left, just like everybody else. And so I used my reins and I made it clear to the horse what I wanted. I finally made my horse go around the other side of the tree rather than the same side that all the other horses were going around. As soon as we did that, the horse reached around and bit me on the leg. Maybe the cooks for the summer lunch program just couldn't think about getting off the regular trail. So we come to a biblical story like the parable of the waiting father who was waiting for his prodigal son to return. We know the parable as the parable of the prodigal son. It's not about the son, it's about the father. It's a story about what God is like, and it is set in a human context that we should be able to understand. A dad and two sons. But the dad demonstrates a love and forgiveness that's almost incomprehensible to us. God is acting in a way that isn't understandable to us in terms of how human families operate. But Isaiah speaks for God and says this, "My thoughts are not your thoughts, nor are my ways your ways, says the Lord. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts." The Bible describes humanity's experience of the transcendent. But God doesn't fit into flimsy, limited human vocabulary and grammar. Our human logic just is too puny to cover the message. And so the Bible necessarily slips into poetry, into allegory. Randall Thompson was an American composer of choral music. He lived from 1899 to 1984, and among his students was a young man whose name was Leonard Bernstein. One of Thompson's most remembered works was The Peaceable Kingdom, in which he set some of Isaiah's poetic passages to music. And one of the sections that Thompson uses is Isaiah describing what human life would be like at the mountain of the Lord, where hills sing and trees clap their hands. Now, I have not heard hills sing, but I have seen trees clap their hands. Want me to mansplain? In a gentle to moderate breeze, the leaves of a broadleaf tree seem to undulate, showing first their green side and then their lighter underside. I think that's what it means when the trees clap their hands. It's a calm and beautiful picture, and it seems appropriate to what would be happening on the mountain of the Lord. Sometimes it's only in poetry that we can even come close to describing that which is holy. Now, God bless you. If you find value here, I'd appreciate it if you pass it along. But in any case, stay safe, stay sane, and enjoy this day. It's a good day. God bless you. See you soon.